by way of a couple of announcements, just remind you that tomorrow is the homeless breakfast, 9 at the market, 7 a.m. If you'd like to be there and help us, we'd always appreciate your help.
We're looking for you.
Yeah, Ray will be there, yes.
So what time do you guys want us to get
7 o'clock a.m. p.m. a.m. Also, this coming Monday, for those who are interested, the church, El Shaddai Ministries, you can go to their website, look this up. Yitzhak Shapiro will be there, 7 o'clock, sponsored by El Shaddai. So go to El Shaddai Ministries. We can see that they're having him hosting Yitzhak Shapiro, 7 o'clock on Monday night, for those of you interested in that. Also, October 15th, Sunday, October 15th, here, put it on your calendar. Michael Heiser will be with us, so be here at this building, 1:30 in the afternoon. So, love to have you for that as well. All right. So, we've had an interesting week around the world, to say the least. We've had Charlottesville, we've had Barcelona. Buckle up, because it's only going to get worse before it gets better.
Cop shooting in Florida and Pennsylvania.
Yeah, we've had all kinds of nonsense and all kinds of craziness going on in the world. Yeah, well, hold on for that. We'll get to it later, trust me. Just a thought. There are those who want to condemn, and now we back up. Now we saw in Barcelona, and there was 2 other cities, we saw them use, now the method of operation is to use vans and trucks to plow into crowded areas. So now, if you follow the logic, we should outlaw all trucks and vans. Because these can now be weaponized. This went with the logic of the handguns. So, well, let's get rid of handguns because, or machine guns, whatever, because these are killing people. Let me say it this way. Anything that the evil mind desires can be used to weaponize and kill people.
That's right.
They've used planes, so we shored that up somewhat. Now they're not using planes, they're using trucks. And they're going into crowded areas and driving these trucks as fast as they can into crowded areas for the biggest effect. So if you follow that logic, you'd say, well, let's get rid of planes, let's get rid of trucks. Pretty soon you start whipping down things that the common people can use because, well, it can be weaponized. But I mean, my point is that it's not the planes that are the problem, it's not the guns that are the problem, it's not the vans and trucks that are the problem, it's the hatred ideology of the people behind them that's the problem. And until the hearts of people are changed, you will not have change.
True.
The ideology and the hatred that goes with it has to change.
You cannot make enough laws to.
Because I can't make enough laws to stop the mind of the person who's evil from devising new ways to destroy people. Yeah, hold on. Go ahead.
all these things? Bullets, cars, trucks, airplanes. God gave them to us as a lesson. How quickly Satan showed us how to use them to destroy them.
Sure. Now, anything and everything, I suppose, has the potential of being used to do harm. You could take something for good, use it for good, or you could take something and use it for harm. And if your mind is evil and you want to destroy people, then you can use whatever is out there to destroy people. So, things themselves, the point is that things are not evil. What is evil is people with evil ideology that have hatred in their heart towards other people. And they use this hatred to sit around and devise ways of destroying people. I've said here before, I can't even fathom, it doesn't even register in my mind, this notion that people sit around and they have maps and they look for ways to do as much harm to other people as possible. It's so far from my thinking. But there are people like that who sit around and say, how can we destroy as many people as possible? Well, maybe if we do this or that, and this is how they think. One right here and one over here. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, you know, piece about the scripture we just read, that it seems to me that people, what is the first recourse all the time? Is to, you know, try and fall, leave this person, that person, and get back at them.
Right. If you don't have Yeshua the Messiah living within you, the inclination of your heart will lead you towards hatred and unkindness and ultimately evil towards other people. Remember what we've said in the past. If you start to think, and this happens whether it's one person to one person or whether it's a people group to people group, as soon as person A or B or people group A and B start to think of themselves as better than the other,
That's the problem.
the history of our civilizations is that as soon as A thinks they are better than B, they will either have to enslave them or kill them. This is where it leads on the inclination scale. Oh, there you go. Right here.
A lot of you people may not have read the book by Orson Welles, 1984. It's a script on what's happening today.
Okay. George Orwell. What about George Orwell and Orson Welles? George Orwell, 1984.
And Animal Farm. That's
Animal Farm.
Congress's script.
Yeah, Congress's script. Yeah, read Animal Farm and George Orwell, 1984.
Isn't that the one where all men are created equal, but some are created
Yeah.
equally more than that?
All,
Yeah.
all
Right, I
animals
remember
are
that.
created equal, but the pigs are more equal than everybody
Right.
else.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
and
Animal Farm.
Right, I remember
Yeah,
that, I forgot about that. No.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you know, I have guns in my safe, and so far they have not picked the lock and made them so loud. And I don't know about at night, they could be out, you know, roaming my streets, but, you know, but the bullets have kind of migrated a little bit.
Why was that shot?
Yeah, they seem to have not had a mind of their own to walk out of the safe.
All I'm trying to say is this, that I think we're going to see and hear more and more of this. I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. What we do is we pray for peace in Jerusalem. We pray for God's protection of His holy ones. And we pray that God will turn the hearts of those who are evil towards Him. That's all we can do. Because how does anybody stop living their life? If you stop living your life, and this is what the lesson we learned from Israel, is that Israel has refused in the face of terrorism to stop living their lives. Because as soon as you stop living your life, they win. So you say, well, I'm going to live my whole life in fear. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not smart. You don't take unnecessary risks. But you don't say, well, I'm not going to live my life anymore. You know, these people in Barcelona, they were in a plaza. They were shopping. They were having dinner. They weren't doing anything wrong, right? But because it's a crowded area, it becomes a target for those who are evil. So we have to be vigilant. We have to be careful. But at the end of the day, we have to pray that the will of God be done, and that He change the hearts of those who are evil, that have hatred. I can't get my mind around baseless hatred. Around baseless hatred, where you hate another person because of their ethnicity, or because of their gender, or because of their whatever. You don't even know the person, you just automatically say, I'm going to hate so-and-so because they're different than me. It's only when we have in our heads that we are all creating the image of God, that we can then come to the table and say, you know what? And this is the message of the half shekel, as Reuben has taught us. I'm a half shekel, you're a half shekel. When we start thinking, well, I'm a shekel and you're a half shekel,
Then we're in trouble.
I'm worth more than you are. No. Everybody in here is a half shekel. Doesn't matter who they are. I'm a half shekel. Chris is a half shekel. Ray's a half shekel. Everybody's a half shekel. It's not one above the other. And as soon as we start thinking this way, then you start thinking, well, I'm better than the other person. And then if I'm better than them, I have one of two options. Ultimately, as the evil moves towards more evil, is I have to enslave them or I have to genocide them. Because I'm better. And they don't deserve to live like me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to enslave them so that they're not like me, or I'm going to kill them so they're not like me. I don't want them around. This is history of civilization 101. As soon as hate enters in, slavery enters in, genocide. And we lived through in the 19th century, most of us were alive for a big part of the 19th century, we lived through the largest part of world history where we had the most killing. Look at the numbers. We're getting better and better at it, but it's not good. Yes?
I would also argue that fear is a big contributor.
Absolutely.
People don't understand each other, and out of fear, they categorize it as us and them.
I agree.
And as soon as it's them,
Right.
got it.
I'm glad you said that because I've mentioned in the past that I want to be careful here because I think it came from I experienced not with my father, a blessed memory. My mom's still alive. My mom has there's two types of racism. You're right. There's racism built off of I just think I'm better than you. Period. So since I'm better than you, I don't think you really have the right to, you have to be my servant, you have to be I have to destroy you. That's one type of racism. A secondary type of racism, the one that my mom had, that she was taught by her parents. And by the way, a lot of this hatred is fomented and taught by somebody who gets a hold of the minds of children and tells them that these things are true. My mom has racism that comes out of fear. She doesn't think she's better than somebody, than an African American. I'll use that. She doesn't think she's better than African American. But she fears them. She thinks that they are inherently out to do that. Because it's come from her father, a very influential person in her life at a very young age, told her, "You better be very, very careful, because I've been telling you. Look at the paper right here. The paper right here says black man kills white woman. There you go." And this is extrapolated that every black man is now out to kill white women. And he puts fear into her. So that if she were to see a black man walking towards her on the same side of the street, she'd move to the other side. Not because she thinks she's inherently better than him. Because inherently, he's probably out to do something negative to her. She assumes this. And that, you're right, that kind of fear also creates the us versus them. So you see both kinds of fear in people, where there's the kind of fear that's, I don't think I'm better than you, but I fear what you're going to do to me. Self-preservation. And self-preservation for me to fear you. Because somebody has put this fear in me. Usually it's somebody that's an authority figure. But you guys we have to understand that we have black pastors and we have white pastors in the South that foment this kind of fear. And then what happens? We have segregation. See, well, we'll go to our corner, you go to your corner. We're not going to mix, but we don't want you coming to our schools, we don't want you coming to our churches. The most segregated hour of all United States is Sunday mornings from 10 to 12. You got the black church. You got the white church. These two don't mix, especially in the South. And a lot of this, you're right, is built off of fear.
And that's still going on today, by the way.
And that still goes on today. To this day, my mom, I love her to death. Wonderful person in so many ways. But she will talk to me, and she's trying to talk to me, be careful, around black people. And I'm like, well, why? She's like, well, because, you never know what they're up to. I'm like, what do you mean what they're up to? They can be up to good, no good. I'm like, what no good are we talking about? Well, just be careful. What are we talking about here? But it's irrational. But when you have this fear placed in your head from authority figures early on, it's hard to get that replay out of your head. 1 and 2, and we'll move on. Right.
Stronger than fear. You have people ideology thinks by killing you, they're doing God a good favor.
That's the insidious of evil, yes.
You have a group of people. Daniel 10 told, and the 10 horned beast in Revelation are the same. Get a good view of this. Look up the nations that were in the Ottoman Empire. God told us that they will make war against us and will overcome us because we're thinking they're doing God a good service. We need to prepare ourselves for it and our neighbors.
I agree. One right here, and I'll come back to you. Hold on. Right
I was just going to say that people hate Jews, but they're not, they don't think the Jews are going to kill them, they just hate Jews. There's this comedian, his name's Jackie Mason, and he has this one real funny, thing he says. He talks about the difference between, if we're on the street and we see a group of black people walking down the street, we're going to try to cross and go on the inside. But if we saw a group of Jewish people walking down the street, when we cross over on the other side, I mean, it's just really crazy how things happen. But again, there's still that hate, that scapegoat mentality, there's ignorance out there. Anything that we don't understand, let's get rid of it.
Right. If we don't understand it, yeah, let's annihilate it. Let's rid ourselves of it. That makes no sense. Our lack of understanding is not a means to justify evil. Yeah, go ahead.
About the whole separation, leadership, separating people. It was Sigmund Freud's nephew who took his uncle's work and was genius at marketing and made a lot of money for corporations and got a lot of people elected. Because it kind of used to be, well, let's just put all the facts out there and then people will decide what's the best. And he realized that people are very emotional and coined the American public as emotional wildebeest. So you spook them and then they all go one direction and the other direction and you divide them. And so in order to get a movement started, you have to manipulate people emotionally. This is the way of the world. You have to manipulate groups of people emotionally. And when you do that, then you can get whole herds of people moving in whatever direction you manipulate them to. It's not like, there's probably a reason why God calls us sheep, you know what I mean?
Right.
We can get spooked in different herds and groups and directions. And so, I'm not saying we need to turn off our emotions, but we need to realize, we need to be aware that we're emotional people and we need to use our emotions to ask questions, to question what's the purpose, what's the motive, and just be aware of all the messages that come to us, or for corporations or nonprofits or whatever it is.
Good word. I want to say this too. Then we'll get to the lesson. I have difficulty with groups that believe that if there is problems, that the way to solve the problem is by destroying the other side. I don't have a problem with peaceful protest. Personal, the irony is this. I warned that many of you have too. We worn the uniform in the United States, and we have free speech. We say one of the things we value as a culture is free speech. Say, okay, it's an amendment. It's a right that you have to peaceably assemble and speak freely. And I'll defend people's rights to free speech, even people I don't agree with, because I want the ability to speak freely. Okay, so even people who I don't agree with ideologically, they can also speak. Okay, where they lose me is, for many of these groups, I'll just use one example. I do believe that Black Lives Matter, in the sense that they have value. But as soon as they move towards, let's destroy police officers and kill police officers, they lose me.
Absolutely.
In other words, when you want to foment more violence, and you think the answer to violence is solving it by more violence, then you're going to lose my support. You know, what do we want? Pigs in a blanket. When do we want it? Now. You know, we want to kill policemen now. As soon as you go to that route, I'm off the team. I'm on the team when you guys want to talk about, hey, humanity matters and we should protect all humanity. But as soon as you go to, well, let's destroy a segment of society that we don't like, no, you lose me. No, I'll end with that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I have a friend, who kind of explained to me Black Lives Matter. She's an African woman. And the majority of the people, from what she explained to me, they don't want anyone hurt, But they don't want to kill police. But what they're saying is that, when she's driving in her car, she feels when she sees a police officer, and she was being very honest with me, she gets upset and nervous. I mean, and so basically what she's saying to me is that from her experience and the experience with other African Americans she knows, because of their experiences, they feel like they're going to have to be stopped or whatever. So I think they're just reacting from past experiences, from past, historical events, whatever. So, like I said, they're not saying that nobody else's lives matter.
I agree. No, I know they're not saying that. I agree with that. And I also think that there's probably many that would go one to the other. So that's good. Go ahead.
Look at the Stanford experiment, quick experiment in 1971. They had slaves for 2 weeks, where they took people who were friends in college and put them in a prison status and said, you guys are guards, you guys are prisoners, you guys have authority over these guys and they're subservient to you. And they had to end it before a week had completed because the guards became so sadistic, so evil in their methods that the prisoners became suicidal.
Right.
And I mean, 6 days and they had to cut it.
Yeah.
This just
All right. Let's.
Brent.
Yeah. This is how insidious and how much it lays dormant sometimes in the heart of humanity. All right. Let's go to chapter 12, Deuteronomy. Take the Bible, please. Deuteronomy chapter 12.